Everything that begins to exist has a cause. Exploring the principle. The principle that everything that begins to exist has a cause is foundational not only to philosophical and theological reasoning but also to the scientific method. This concept, sometimes called the principle of causality, has profound implications for understanding the universe, human existence, and the nature of reality itself. In this video, we will explore the basis of this principle, its philosophical underpinnings, and its relevance to modern science and metaphysical discussions, including its implications for the existence of God. The principle of causality. The fact that everything that begins to exist has a cause is a metaphysical claim grounded in common experience. It asserts that if something comes into being, there must be a reason, a cause, or a source that brings it into existence. This principle is observable in everyday life. Objects do not simply appear out of nothing. Houses are built by builders, paintings are created by artists, and natural phenomena like the birth of stars or the growth of trees all have causes and explanations. Philosophers have long considered causality as a fundamental aspect of reality. Aristotle, for instance, categorized causes into 4 types: material, formal, efficient, and final causes. His explanation of the efficient cause, essentially, the agent or force that brings something into being, supports the notion that things do not simply come into existence without an explanation. In the modern era, this principle has been further articulated by philosophers like Thomas Aquinas, who developed the cosmological argument for the existence of God based on causality. Aquinas argued that there must be a first cause, an unmoved mover, which itself is not caused but causes everything else. This unmoved mover, he proposed, is what we call God. Philosophical foundations. Why causality is compelling and rational. The statement, everything that begins to exist has a cause, is an intuitively compelling rational proposition. If something were to begin to exist without a cause, it would mean that something came into existence from nothing, without any explanation or reason. This violates the fundamental principle of sufficient reason, which posits that everything must have a reason or explanation for its existence. Imagine a chair suddenly appearing in your living room without a carpenter or any materials involved in its creation. This would be absurd, and it contradicts not only our experience but also logical coherence. The law of non-contradiction, a fundamental law of logic, asserts that something cannot both exist and not exist at the same time. If something comes into being, it logically must come from somewhere or be caused by something. This is also why the idea of things coming into existence from nothing is philosophically problematic. Nothing has no properties, no potentialities, and no existence. Thus, it cannot produce something. Therefore, if something begins to exist, it must have been brought into existence by a cause or agent. Causality in modern science. This principle is also foundational to science. Science operates on the assumption that events have causes and that these causes can be discovered, studied, and understood. For example, if a scientist observes a particular phenomenon, such as a solar flare, a chemical reaction, or the development of a new species, scientific inquiry seeks to find the underlying cause. Science thrives on cause and effect relationships, tracing the chain of causality to understand how things work. Take the Big Bang theory as an example. The Big Bang posits that the universe began to exist around 13.8 billion years ago. If the universe had a beginning, it stands to reason that it had a cause. This is where the question of what caused the Big Bang arises. Some scientists have attempted to offer naturalistic explanations, but they are falsified by infinite regress. Ultimately, the principle that everything that begins to exist has a cause is assumed in these inquiries. The Kalam cosmological argument. One of the most well-known philosophical arguments for the existence of God based on this principle is the Kalam cosmological argument. It was developed by medieval philosophers and later refined by contemporary Christian philosopher William Lane Craig. The argument goes as follows. 1. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. 2. The universe began to exist. 3. Therefore, the universe has a cause. The first premise reflects the principle we've been discussing. The second premise is supported by both philosophical and scientific evidence. Philosophically, it is impossible for the universe to have existed for an infinite amount of time, since actual infinites are incoherent in reality. Scientifically, the Big Bang theory shows that the universe had a finite beginning in time. From these premises, the conclusion follows logically. the universe has a cause. Reason and logic show that this cause must be something that transcends the universe, immaterial, timeless, and uncaused itself. This is what we call God. Rebutting objections. One common objection to this principle is to ask, if everything that begins to exist has a cause, then what caused God? The key to this objection lies in the wording. The principle states that everything that begins to exist has a cause. God, as classically understood, did not begin to exist. God is eternal, uncaused, and outside of time and space. Therefore, God does not require a cause. Another objection comes from quantum mechanics, where certain events at the quantum level, like particle fluctuations, are claimed by some to happen without apparent cause. However, these fluctuations occur within a field, and quantum indeterminacy does not mean that things happen without cause. Rather, it means that we cannot predict certain outcomes with certainty, though there are still underlying causal mechanisms. Implications for the existence of God. The principle that everything that begins to exist has a cause has far-reaching implications for the existence of God. The universe, according to modern science, had a beginning. Thus, it must have had a cause. Naturalistic explanations fail to account for how something can come from nothing. The only sufficient explanation for the cause of the universe is something outside of the universe, something that exists necessarily and eternally. This leads to the conclusion that the cause of the universe must be powerful, transcendent, and personal, as only a personal agent can initiate a new effect, like the creation of the universe, without being caused by something else. This is why the principle of causality not only supports the idea of a creator but also aligns with the notion of a God who is eternal and the source of all things. Conclusion. The principle that everything that begins to exist has a cause is an essential truth that undergirds much of philosophy, science, and theology. It provides the logical framework to explore the origin of the universe and leads us to infer the existence of a transcendent cause, God. Far from being an outdated or irrelevant concept, causality remains a foundational principle for understanding the nature of reality and the ultimate cause behind all things. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts. If you would like me to respond to your comment, please make a level 1 comment directly below the video. I will respond to all polite level 1 comments even if it takes me a while, due to other commitments.